What do Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, the show where we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia, sports, and in general the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, lifelong sports fan. Today I'm coming to you with a video just following the franchise tag period for the NFL. There are only 6 players, I believe, franchise tagged this year. I do apologize ahead of time, guys. You might get a cat tax, you might get a dog tax. Speaking of, cat tax, say hello to Susie. All right, Sue Cat, you go down. Alrighty, so jumping right in, the Falcons chose not to use the franchise tag on potentially leaving Caleb McGarry. That would have guaranteed him a little over $18 million. Had they done that, they're not even going to be paying Chris Lindstrom that much this year. I was pretty sure they weren't going to make that deal happen. It's still possible that they re-sign Caleb McGarry in the offseason here. Officially, the offseason starts 1 week from today or 1 week from yesterday at 4 p.m. I look for Tuesday tomorrow to be an incredibly busy day. I will very likely make a video on Tuesday evening posting next week about some of the immediate big signings. As of big news today, Aaron Rodgers, at this moment at 9:45 on 3/8/23, he is meeting with the New York Jets. We do not know the outcome of that. This is kind of important because that means that the Packers have already talked to the Jets. Otherwise, this would be considered tampering. So there has to have been some talk about potential compensation if the Packers are worth their salt as a front office. And again, I think Aaron Rodgers makes sense to go to the Jets. I don't know what sort of compensation makes sense for him. He's going to be carrying with him a very large contract, so I just don't know if that's going to be worth a first-round pick to have to absorb that. I think it's almost $60 million this year. I'm sure there will be some talking with the Jets and the Green Bay Packers as to what sort of compensation is appropriate. If the Jets take on more money, that would probably warrant a higher pick to the Green Bay Packers from the Jets, and so on and so forth. As far as guys that did get franchise tagged, we're going to go through them real quick. Tony Pollard for the Cowboys, he's going to be cap hit of $10 million this year. Evan Ingram to the Jaguars, $11.3 million. Daron Payne, certainly one that I was sad about, to the Commies, $18.9 million. Josh Jacobs, $10 million. Saquon Barkley, who's not happy about it, $10 million. And Lamar Jackson to the Ravens, $32.4 million. And the Falcons have also subsequently come out and said, we are not going to pursue him. Now, it is a non-exclusive franchise tag, which basically means that he can talk to other teams and try to get them interested. If he gets a deal that he likes, the Ravens can match that over the course of a week. If they choose not to match it, then basically they can get 2 first-round picks from whatever team Lamar would choose to go to. Right now, the market for him is going down tremendously. I think the Combine, which has also happened this past weekend, has really hurt his value in terms of future quarterback prospects. A lot of quarterbacks, at least 4 or 5 of them, looked like potential great picks in the top 15 for quarterback-needy teams. So I think a lot of teams are kind of in this wait-and-see period of, hey, we might as well just draft a guy if we already have a high pick, and why waste money on a guy that's been hurt for a couple of years in a row and who hasn't played to MVP caliber in quite some time. So I don't know that Lamar Jackson ends up getting his mega deal, but that said, he is certainly better than some of the quarterbacks who did re-sign at the same time as the franchise tag happened. So, guys that have re-signed, you've had 3 major quarterback signings. You've had Geno Smith re-signing with the Seahawks. He's going to get, I think, $40 million guaranteed on a $75 million contract, up to $105 million over the course of 3 years. He certainly earned it this past year with the Seahawks, and I look forward to seeing him play. They're kind of in a weird spot because they do have the 5th pick in the draft. They could trade back and build up capital for the future. They could go ahead and take their future quarterback prospect and do very much like the Packers have done with Jordan Love and have him sit for a little while behind a veteran, but know that he is going to be the future. So maybe somebody like Anthony Richardson or Will Levis at that pick if they don't go a little bit higher. So they could do that, or again, they could trade back to a quarterback needy team like the Panthers. I certainly don't think the Falcons are quarterback needy, but it wouldn't surprise me though after the talk from the Combine if the Falcons ended up taking somebody like Anthony Richardson or Will Levis at the 8th spot overall to give some competition, and I don't know that you can pass up. If they truly believe that he's a great prospect, either of those guys, I don't think you can pass him up. And CJ Stroud, I don't think he would fall to us. He should be the first or second quarterback taken off the board, but certainly could be a guy that, for whatever rhyme or reason, falls depending on the NFL draft this year. Certainly last year, Aiden Hutchinson probably should have been the number 1 overall pick, but Trayvon Walker from the Georgia Bulldogs went to the Jaguars. They saw something athletic that they really liked about him, and they chose to pursue him. He didn't play bad. He just didn't live up to the number 1 overall pick. It is certainly somebody who we look to see how he's going to do going forward. But again, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, quarterback, he is going to be signing with the Saints, $160 million with $100 million guaranteed. 4-year deal. He is for sure guaranteed some money through year 3, but big deal for him is that he has a no trade clause in his contract. So he is their quarterback for the next 3 to 4 years, almost no matter what. Then you move on. You have the other big signing of the day, Daniel Jones. $160 million for 4 years, with $82 million of that guaranteed. Now, this basically means that the Giants have got their guy. They really liked what they saw in him this past year. He took a lot of steps forward with a new head coach. Keep in mind, same head coach who really developed Josh Allen into the quarterback he is today, and they think that maybe Daniel Jones can be that guy. Now, it's a little underwhelming that he threw less than 20 touchdown passes. He had more than that because of his ground game, but he did not throw a ton of touchdown passes last year. But he played good, competent football, only throwing 5 interceptions all season long. And if I remember, I think he played every single game. So that's pretty good overall. But again, $82 million guaranteed. So reasonably, depending on how those contracts work out and how they pay him, they could move on from him after 2 or 3 years if they get all that money, kind of the guaranteed, on the table first. Just depends on if they kind of backload that, and then they still are possibly going to be looking to make a deal with Saquon, as he is not happy with the idea of playing on the tag, which makes sense. He wants to get his second contract, wants to get a mega deal, and he proved himself this last year. So he had 2 good years, 2 bad years, with the most recent being a good one. I assume that they will get some sort of deal done with him, and he is on the non-exclusive as well, so he can also choose to shop around and try to go to other teams. But I don't think anybody is willing to give up 2 first-round picks for Saquon Barkley. There's rumors that Derrick Henry is on the trading block. I don't think any team is going to be trading first-round picks for him. Has nothing to do with the fact that these are not really good players, faces of franchises, faces of the NFL at this moment in time. Has everything to do with the fact that the running back is the least valued position overall in the NFL. Falcons, I thought maybe we could be looking for a complimentary piece to Tyler Algier, but again, Tyler proved himself pretty well, breaking the rookie rushing record for the Falcons last year after not even being a feature back until halfway through the season. So I really like where we're at with Algier, and I think maybe one more complimentary piece to him would be great, and Caleb Huntley will be back at some point as well, and I really love his story. He's probably my favorite player on the offense right now for the Falcons, not because he's the best running back on the team, but I love his story, and I love the juice that he brought to us last year. But a couple other things that we need to talk about. So we talked about Caleb McGarry. We talked about Aaron Rodgers. Other players that signed a deal, the Lorenzo Carter, we don't know the details of his contract at this moment in time. We just know that it's a 2-year deal. He was the second most effective edge rusher we had last year. I think he had 4 or 5 sacks overall, which is about his average. So certainly worth it for what we had last year with him, but not a guy that I'm super excited for a long-term deal. I thought a 1 to 2 year deal for him would be appropriate, and I'm waiting to see what those numbers end up being. Last year was a $3.5 million 1-year deal. This will probably, if I had to guess, I would say he probably signed a 2-year, $8 to $10 million total extension with the Falcons. He's getting up there in years a little bit for an edge rusher. Wasn't as effective last year. And again, another reason that the Falcons need to build up the defensive interior to take pressure off of him and get another edge rusher. But right now it's going to be Carter Ebiketie and Grady Jarrett on the D-line with Taquan Graham when he gets healthy coming back in. Not a bad defensive line, but certainly one that was a little lackluster overall last year. We would like to beef that up. So we still don't know what the Falcons are going to do with that 8th pick overall. We could trade back depending on how the draft falls to us. I don't think we move from our pick until the draft. We could trade up if we really like these quarterbacks quarterbacks and want to move on. But otherwise, that's really all I've got for you today. It's been an interesting week for the combine, for free agency happening. It really feels like the NFL free agency has already happened. But guys, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. I am really trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of next season. I would love to hit more than 1,000, but right now the channel's just not growing as fast as I would like it to. But certainly 500 is the goal. If I go beyond that, I am not going to be upset. Please consider sharing this video with other Falcons fans or just other NFL fans in general. Tom Grassi, thank you so much for shouting me out on your Friday night question and answer stream. I hope you really enjoyed the Eric Stokes jersey. He's a player that's near and dear to my heart as a former Falcon. I really like seeing him thrive in Green Bay. Hated that he got hurt this past year. But again, Tom, thank you. You know, if you got any Falcons fans in your stream, please send them on my way. I'm not trying to steal from you. I just love to, you know, feed off of some of the same energy that you've got. But thank you guys again for watching. It's been a great offseason so far, even though it hasn't even officially started yet. But as always, guys, rise up.